Hi everyone, Kai here, and welcome to my guide on Swordcraft. What is Swordcraft? Swordcraft is a class that is heavily based on followers in Shadowverse that aims to win the game by strength in numbers. The followers in this class are divided into two traits, officers and commanders. Officers are denoted with this symbol here, while commanders are denoted with this symbol. I'll show an example of how the traits interact with each other. The officer card, Oathless Knight, has a fanfare to summon a knight, another officer. Fanfare is a term to which will activate upon playing on the field. On the other hand, when you play White General, a commander which has a fanfare to give +2/0 to an allied officer. +2/0 denotes a follower's attack, power, and defense respectively. By buffing up officers on the field with commanders, Swordcraft specializes in face damage and efficient trades with zoo-like playstyle on the board. Gameplay and deck building. You'd want to learn a few card game terms, so please do use the annotations in the video and study some of them. There are several Swordcraft players that follow a certain game plan, and you can use this knowledge with other classes. I won't be going too much details into each of them. I'm giving a class guide and overviews and not really an in-depth guide. Moving on, get board control. Play your low-cost followers that will flood the board and get even or an advantage with your opponent. Hit early face damage. If you have strong early curve, you can win the game between turns 6 to 7 since you are constantly pressuring your opponents and can ignore the followers to target the enemy leader. Efficient trades. Try to avoid trading if you have the option to go face, forcing your opponent to trade for you. Don't be afraid to evolve. I'll get into this later in the video. Build tempo. Efficiently use your play point orbs and gain the advantage on the board to get efficient trades. Simply put, play a follower each turn if you can. Even out your board. Don't buff up one follower. Spread the stats out so it's harder for your opponent to clear or trade all of them. Plan ahead. Look at the situation of the game, the cards in your hand, the hand size, how the board is developing. Plan what you want to do in the next turn and how much face damage you can do. Keep in mind of what deck your opponent uses and play around it. No need to overcommit. You don't have to play all the cards in your hand and get board wiped the next turn. Save some of your cards that can help you flood the field again should your board be wiped. Evolving is a unique mechanic to Shadowverse. You can play an evolution point on a follower and evolve them, granting them extra stats and activating their effects. Please note that if an evolved follower leaves the field and comes back by card effect, it will revert back to its pre-evolved form, resetting stat changes. You can play around with this. Timing of using an evolution point is important. You are either going to evolve a smaller follower to get small value trades, evolve a previously played follower to push extra face damage, or evolve a follower that has not yet been buffed, again to even out your board. You learn how to use your evolution point efficiently as you get used to the game over time. I'll use Floral Fencer as an example. When you evolve Floral Fencer, you'll have an increased stat change and a lovely art change, which has an evolution effect which will summon a steel-clad knight and a knight. This builds up tempo and gives you good value for trading, or give face value damage in the next turn. Now I'll be moving on to deck building. This deck is one of the Swordcraft decks you can build on a budget, the Royal Banner deck. The Royal Banner is an amulet with a commander trait and a fanfare to give +1/0 to allied officers, and has a continuing effect on the field in which will give +1/0 to all allied officers that comes into play. Post Darkness Evolved card expansion made it possible for the deck to compete competitively strong. As this deck is an aggro deck, it runs on a very low curve. Here are the list of cards in the Royal Banner deck. Please note that this deck list is not a must, since there are other cards you can use or consider putting in. The link of the deck list is right on top right corner of the video, so please use the annotations as you see fit. What all these cards have in common is that they are on a very low curve, which means you can play followers every turn, and at turn 4 onwards, a couple of them at once. Here are a few cards you can consider putting in a Royal Banner deck. Pompous Princess is a commander card which has a fanfare to summon a random 1 play point officer from the deck. Avant Blader is a commander card with a fanfare to draw 2 random officer cards from the deck to your hand. Stage Commander is a commander card which has a fanfare to give +1/1 to all followers on the field. And Demonic Strike is a neutral card which deals 3 damage to an enemy, follower or leader. This can help you push extra face damage. As I explained earlier, the deck runs on a very low curve. As an aggro deck, they prey on slower decks who don't run too many defensive cards. However, they struggle against control decks with a lot of defensive cards and are prone to board wipes. So you generally want to win by turn 6-7. For other Swordcraft decks, please use the annotations on the bottom left corner of the video. That's all of the class guide for Swordcraft. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions or want to give suggestions on what class guide should I do next, please comment on the video and subscribe for more Shadowverse videos in the future. Thanks for watching!